Hello guys, welcome to today's video. So we'll be starting a new series today on middle game planning. Now at the sub 2000 level, this is one of the areas of the game that is most difficult to master. You get into many positions and then you simply don't know what to do, or you find yourself just making moves, or you think you have a good plan and then later you analyze the game and you realize you're all over the place. So we'll use this series to try and fix that and see how we can go about planning in the middle game. Now, when we get middle game positions, this is how many players go about analyzing it. They look at the position and then they immediately start calculating moves that look nice. And then they calculate one line, calculate another line, calculate a bunch of lines, and then they choose the line that looks best. But there's a problem with that approach. That is how engines play chess. Engines can do that because they can calculate billions of lines per second. Humans simply cannot do that. And so when you try to do that, more often than not, you find yourself making plans that just don't work, or calculating moves that you think are working, and then later down the line realize you are just in a bad position. So the way humans beat this problem is to use plans instead of moves. So when you're looking at such middle game positions, you don't really want to calculate moves at first, but I want to find the right plan. Whenever you have a plan, automatically you play better chess, you play more logical chess. And the saying goes that even a bad plan is better than no plan at all. So through this series, we are going to learn how to make a plan in the middle game. We're going to use an approach that has been suggested by many authors and chess coaches. There is no general consensus that this one formula works best, but we are going to combine ideas from various sources, and then I'll basically show you how I like to analyze my middle games. Okay, so the first step in making a middle game plan is to assess the position. You can't make a plan without assessing the position. Now you assess the position based on certain elements or imbalances. The whole system of planning is best based on imbalances. Imbalances mean anything that is different in the position from whites to blacks. Anything at all that is different in the two positions. The chess game starts completely symmetrical, all the pawns and pieces on the same squares when you look at white and black's position. And as you make moves, that changes eventually. So whenever you look at the position, you start to analyze it, start to assess it, looking at the things that are different in the two positions, and those things will sort of inform you as to the plan that you should be looking out for. Now, you assess the imbalances using certain elements or certain basic factors of every chess position. I've listed these ones here on the right side, but we'll go through. Now, the authors use 8 of them, and then I've added one that I've found to be important on my own. So king safety is the first and usually the most important one. You assess the two kings, look at their positions, how the pawn showed in front of them looks like, how safe the two kings are. They in the center, are they castled, king side, queen side. You assess the king safety. And then you assess the material. Is there an imbalance in the material? Is one side a pawn, a piece up, or an exchange up? Then you assess the development, how the pieces out developed. Then you assess the initiative. Is one side calling the shots? Then you assess the space. Then you assess the pawn structure. You assess the minor pieces. By minor pieces, we mean the knights and the bishops. Then you assess the control of important squares, files, and diagonals. And then lastly, you look at the knowledge that you bring to your position. Now, I'm only going through these because we will take each of these elements one by one, and then in future videos look at some general rules. Each of them has certain general rules regarding the assessment and how you plan if there's an imbalance based on them. So look at the rules for each of them, and then we'll look at some examples, positions where they are present, and we'll see how we can assess those. So for this one, we'll just go through the elements and then look at the method that we use to make the plan. Okay, so the first step is to make the assessment based on these imbalances. So you take your time to go through each of these elements, and then at the end, you decide how the position on the board is. Is it equal? Is one side better? And why? Now, when you know this, you immediately get some idea as to how you should make your plan. Because, like I said, if you're aware of the plans and the general rules regarding each of these elements, you automatically have an idea of what you should be doing and what you should not be doing in the position. So, once you've assessed the imbalances, you identify the relevant ones that are present. You won't have all these imbalances relevant in every position. Every position you have a few of them, maybe 3 or 4 of them that are relevant, that are different, and the others may be symmetrical. So you identify the ones that are relevant or most important in any position that you have before you. Once you have that, based on those, you can decide which side of the board to play on. So this will depend on the imbalances present that you can maneuver to be in your favor, or the possible point in your opponent's camp where you can create weaknesses. So you decide the side on the board to play on. There are 3 sides of the board: the center, the king side, or the queen side. So based on the possible weaknesses present, you decide the side of the board that you need to play on. And then you imagine the ideal placement of your pieces. So now if you know which side of the board you want to play on, imagine where you want all your pieces to be. That will take full advantage of the imbalances that you've identified. Now, I want to mention that in all these steps, you don't do any calculation. The assessment, you don't do any calculation. You just look at the position and assess. So you identify the imbalances present. You decide the side of the board to play on, no calculation. And even the fourth step, when you imagine the ideal placement of your pieces, you are still not calculating. You don't calculate, you move here, they go here. No. You just look at all your pieces and then just select spots on the board where they would be working the best in line with the imbalances that you found. And then based on that, you identify candidate moves. Based on where you want your pieces to be, what are the candidate moves that you have? Which moves can you make that are available to you? And only then do you start to calculate. When you've identified your candidate moves, then you calculate each of them out to see which of them works the best. It is now that you calculate, if you go here, where will your opponent go? You look at his responses and you see which of the candidate moves works the best for you. So this is the general outline as to how you make a plan. If you're able to follow the system of imbalances, you'll find yourself making better plans, and invariably your chess ability will increase. Now, I mentioned that there is no consensus regarding how these plans should be made. Different authors have different opinions, and what I've just presented is based on a number of them and my own experience in playing chess. Now, the truth is that with time, you will become more familiar with so many different positions that you'll be able to make these plans without going through this process step by step. And that is the relevance of the last elements that I added here. That is the knowledge you bring to your position. There are certain positions that you already know a bit about. For example, an isolated queen's pawn position. You already know some of the rules that you should be looking out for. There are some pawn structures that you may already know the plans that you should be playing. And as time goes on, as you assess many different positions, you will realize that you'll be able to see patterns amongst them. And this is how strong players are able to play even fast chess, blitz bullets at an amazing pace, but then you analyze and realize we're still making all the right moves and all the right plans because they've seen these things so many times that they don't have to go through this whole process once again. And so some of the authors suggest a more intuitive method of planning where you only look at the position and then based on the knowledge and experience that you have, make the plans. But for us beginners, we don't have that knowledge or that experience. And so it's best for us to use this stepwise approach. But I'm just saying this to draw your attention to the fact that as you practice this method, with time you will find that you're able to do it more intuitively, more automatically. You will look at some positions and you immediately recognize what is going on and what you should be doing. And with time, your chess will improve in that manner. You'll be able to play these plans very correctly and yet still very quickly. But in the beginning, you will have to suffer through the process and go through it stepwise. It doesn't just come automatically, you have to suffer through it before it becomes innate. So if you're able to practice using this method, you reap the long-term benefits. And so that is my system that I'm presenting today. So in subsequent videos, we'll take each of these 8 elements, the first 8 especially: king safety, material development, initiative, space, the pawn structure, minor pieces, and then control of important files, squares, and diagonals. We'll take them one by one. Yeah, maybe we'll combine a few of them into one video, but then we'll go through each of them, and then we'll look at the general rules that govern those imbalances, and then we'll look at how you should be making your plans if those imbalances are present. And then we'll also be using example games to try and really understand how we can use this method when these imbalances are present. So this is a series that I'm very excited to do, because it's one of the big problems that all of our chess basically is facing today. So I hope to learn from it, and I hope you also learn from it. And I hope to see you in the next video. So the first one that we'll take is skin safety in the very next video, and then we'll continue in that order. Thank you for tuning in. Happy chessing.